I just spent like way too long trying to make an all pink house in The Sims, and so now I'm gonna speed up that footage and show you what I built. I don't know what it was, but I was just in the mood to build something pink. Sometimes I get these like bursts of Sims inspiration where I'm like, oh my god, I have to build this literally right now. Drop everything and spend 4 hours making an all pink Sims build. So with this house in particular, I was kind of trying to build like a more traditional exterior. It's got this beautiful wraparound porch. It's kind of like a Victorian style. And of course it's all pink. Believe it or not, there's actually a lot of really nice pink like exterior decor items. We have a lot of pink like spandrels and columns and fences. We're sort of lacking in the pink roof department. Although I'd say we're kind of lacking in the roof swatch department just in general. We kind of always need more roof swatches. Maybe I've just built so much in this game that I've used them all too much and I'm over it, but I feel like we could use some more roof swatches. But otherwise, we actually have a lot of really nice like pastel pink options for the exterior. On the inside, not so much. We have a lot of cute pink things in this game, but I feel like a lot of the base game items are not so pastel pink. They're more of like a nightmarish magenta color. And that's nice and all. That's fun and all, but it's just not really the vibe that I was going for with this house. I think early on in The Sims 4, they were like really into super bright, like super saturated colors, and we saw a lot of that with the base game swatches, hence the like really bright magenta couches and stuff that we got, but they've kind of like gone away from that as time has gone on, and we're getting a lot more pastels these days, thankfully. So I was trying to use a lot of those pastel swatches in this build. I will warn you though, this is not a base game house. I use so many packs in this one. I do try and do a lot of base game and like limited pack builds, but with this one, I was purely focused on pink. I hope that you can understand and forgive me, because look, I had to do what I had to do, and there's a lot of pink, but it's in like Strangerville. I wouldn't normally use Strangerville in my build, but this time it was necessary. It was a necessary evil. I actually had some slight inspiration for this build. I didn't have like an inspiration pick or anything, but a few weeks ago, I was doing a charity stream on my Twitch channel, and we did this like letting Twitch chat decide my build sort of thing. And so I pre-wrote like a ton of polls. Like for example, hey, vote on these 5 inspo picks for the main inspiration of the house. Vote on the budget, vote on how many bedrooms it'll have, vote on like color schemes and things like that to kind of let chat decide where the build goes. You see, it was a good idea in theory, but in practice, giving Twitch chat the power to control your Sims build is a little bit dangerous because we started off building a really nice like pink Victorian house, sort of like this one. That was the inspo pick and the color scheme that they had chosen, but they also chose to build it on a 50 by 50 lot in Oasis Springs with like a giant budget. And that's not really like the, you know, tiny, cutesy, pink cottage house that I was envisioning. Instead, it turned into a really large, comical pink house in the desert, and it didn't really work. And then from there, it just got like progressively more chaotic. I'm not really sure how we ended up in this position, but at one point, chat was like, you have to add a moat. Like, picture a castle that has water around it, you know, like for protection and like a drawbridge. Yeah, so I built this pink house, sort of similar to this one, just bigger, in the desert. And then they were like, yeah, put a moat. Oh, and the moat has to be full of red water, like blood. So I had this beautiful home to start off with, and then it just like slowly went downhill. There was a moat, it was covered in gnomes. We had like a dungeon in the basement. It was really something else. And so this house, this version of this house is almost a redemption arc. It's like the house that could have been had we not allowed chat to send us into chaos. And so I think it turned out pretty cute. This is not to say that, you know, moats and dungeons aren't fun additions to Sims builds. It's just a slightly different vibe than I was originally picturing, and I should have known. Again, when you let Twitch chat get a hold of things, it really does go downhill fast. We do a lot of building on my Twitch channel. Like, I built this house live on Twitch too. I just didn't give in to, you know, Twitch. We built it and it was normal. But if you're into that kind of thing and you want to come watch us build these houses live, I do stream literally every day on Twitch, so I can link my channel down below. It's kind of fun. We have some chaotic moments, but we also do stuff like this where we build houses that are, you know, more reasonable looking and moatless. And it's nice because you can like give feedback, you can offer suggestions. We had a really hard time trying to figure out what to put in like the roof gable in the front of the house there. Much appreciated chat suggestions for that one. one. So if you'd like to come hang out and watch us build stuff live, it's like this, but 4 hours instead of 20 minutes. Although perhaps equally as rambly. So if you like my speed builds, it's like this, just a lot longer. Sometimes I have a cat cam on screen. I've got this chair. You can kind of see I have my webcam set up right there because my cat sleeps there a lot. Currently she's sleeping on my desk, but we often have like live cat footage. So I know that's a convincing plug. Again, my channel is linked down below. But as far as the house goes, I had a lot of fun with the exterior on this one. There's just so many pretty things that I got to use. Like we got these little butterfly decorations. There's so many cute pastel pink landscaping options. We had that amazing wraparound porch that I got to fill with like beautiful furniture. I really, really had fun doing the outside of this build. I used a lot of the cottage living debug for this exterior. There's just so many good like light pink plants from cottage living. It's such a shame that it's debug. I know I always complain about this, but arguably cottage living has like some of the best landscaping in the entire game. It's got beautiful trees, it has such great flowers and stuff, and it's all locked behind the debug cheats. I will never understand why they didn't like go through and make those real objects. They really should have made them real landscaping. We always need more flowers and plants and stuff, and those are like some of the best ones. Why didn't they make them real? To give you some context, when I talk about debug landscaping, you basically need to put in two cheats, bb.show hidden objects and then bb.show live edit objects. And there's a lot of landscaping options in that live edit catalog. Catalog is maybe a strong word because it's not like organized or cataloged at all. You just have to scroll through like a big mass of things. And it has a lot of landscaping options, but all the landscaping in it is like the landscaping they use in the world. So if you kind of scroll around, you can even see a lot of it behind this lot right now. There's a lot of like plants and stuff that's just being used in the environment off lot. They gave us access to all of those objects in debug. The problem is those objects aren't like real objects. They weren't designed to be used like by the player as a regular asset. So they'll have like huge poly counts. Maybe they're like unfinished because they're used like super far away so you can't really see them, so they didn't like fully touch it up. Again, they're not like real objects, right? So they're not really intended to be used. They don't have prices, they're not tagged. Some of them your Sims can just walk straight through. Not all of them, but some of them like aren't properly fixed like that, so your Sims will just walk through them. They don't have a real footprint basically. But if you scroll through it, you can find a lot of good stuff, and a lot of the more recent packs have like really good stuff in there. And sometimes there's a lot of items, like for example in Strangerville, there's like a bunch of Joshua trees and like really cool landscaping they used around in the environment, but we just didn't have any of that in our actual build catalog. And it's kind of annoying because, you know, you want to build a lot that fits into the environment. I want to use trees on my lot that match the trees around the lot, but we just didn't have any of them. And us complaining about Strangerville specifically enough is what made them go through and add those things back for us in debug. So if it weren't for Strangerville, we wouldn't even have that debug cheat. They added that like post Strangerville, which was pretty cool. It's just annoying because again, a lot of the time, like even in Strangerville and cottage living, there's so many good landscaping options that we just don't have for real. We have to like go through these cheats to get them. And I hate when they do that. It's a similar issue to even like eco lifestyle. Not quite the same because it isn't completely locked behind cheats, but there's a lot of really nice furniture in eco lifestyle that you can only access through gameplay. And I like that. It's cool. Like the whole idea of the pack is that you craft this furniture, you fabricate it on that new machine. But it also really stinks because there's like some really nice couches and some great beds that came in eco lifestyle, but a lot of people don't even ever use them because you have to get it through gameplay. So if you're like exclusively a Sims builder, you might not even know that it's there or you forget about it. And then, oh my god, if you put in the cheat to unlock those things, I think it's just like regular debug, that first cheat, the bb.show hidden objects. You put in that cheat and then it gives you this catalog of all the items, but they aren't tagged properly either. So to give you some context, when you want to use that like super cute eco lifestyle couch, it's great. It's got like 10 swatches, except in the build catalog, when you put the cheat in, it shows up the couch as like 10 different couches instead of one couch with 10 swatches. So when you're scrolling through, it's like white couch, blue couch, orange couch, green couch, and they're all next to each other instead of just being one item in the catalog. Bed's the same way, the chairs are the same way. So in order to access those things, it's really annoying. The catalog is really, really annoying. I wish they had done it more like the other career unlocks where you can like see it in the build catalog, but it's like grayed out and it says, oh, you need to be level 8 of the astronaut career for this, and then you can use the career unlocks cheat instead, because that way you at least know the option is there to build with it. Or if you were like building from managed worlds and like building a library community lot, it's just there in your catalog. You don't need to physically unlock it with a sim. Because again, I love the idea of my Sims crafting their furniture. It's super fun, but like practically it's kind of annoying that it's the only way to get those things, and a lot of people just don't use them because they forget they're there, they don't see them. So it almost seems like a waste to have made all of those really really nice assets and then like hide them. They do it with cast stuff too, and I think the cast is even worse because you totally don't realize they're there. There are so many cute clothing items that are just completely locked behind cast. I don't know how they decide how they're gonna lock these things because they've kind of changed it recently. Like with Nifty Knitting, you can see a couple of the unlocks like in the cast catalog. It's just locked. Again, kind of like the career unlocks in build mode. But then with Eco Lifestyle, there's a ton of career cast items, like even some super cute succulent earrings and stuff, and you just don't know they're there if you're not in the career. It's one thing when it's like a really specific career uniform, like even like a chef outfit or whatever, sure, that can be locked for like the high level chefs in cast. But when it's like a cute versatile item like succulent earrings, why are you making that and then hiding it so that the average player won't even realize that it's there? Like if you don't play with that career in Eco Lifestyle, you would never know. You would never unlock it and you would never know. I guess I just don't see the point in like making these really nice assets and then making it so that people can't even use them. Long story short, I wish that they had more accessible cheats for those things and also just made them more obvious. Like put them in the catalog where we can see them. We've given that feedback a lot when these packs have come out, so hopefully in the future they'll like be more mindful of it. But this is a pet peeve of mine, can you tell? I've been talking about it for ages. We've now gone really far into the house. We're furnishing the inside now, which by the way, I'm very proud of. This kitchen in particular, I think turned out really, really cute. I got to use a bunch of pink appliances, like a pink fridge, and we have a pink coffee maker and microwave. I didn't end up using a pink stove because I didn't love the swatches. I didn't really want to use the cottage living one because for some reason, cottage living has a fridge and a stove, but the colors aren't the same. Like there's a pink fridge and a pink stove, but the two pinks don't match. Why? I don't know, and it's very upsetting. So I used the pink fridge, but I was like, I can't have a mismatched pink stove. I just can't. I can't. It's too upsetting. So I used like a regular stainless steel stove, and I think it's okay because it matches the sink. It's like mixing metals, except half the metals are pink. Usually when you do like mixed metals, it's like, ooh, we got brass and stainless steel, but in this case, it's stainless steel and pink. In the rest of the house, the downstairs kind of has like a more closed off floor plan. I was sort of picturing this house as being a bit of an older house, maybe older and like updated a little bit, but they didn't take down any walls or anything. So it's like you walk into the living space and then there's a little dining room, hallway, kitchen, kind of all in their own separate rooms. Upstairs, I believe I managed to fit in 3 bedrooms, but I'm kind of forgetting, so we'll have to check when we get up there. And there's a couple bathrooms as well. Overall, it's not a huge house. I was kind of going for like smaller, cozier. This is the kind of house that I love to play in. I love these like tighter, cozier living spaces. I always say this, but I do think a Sims house can be too big. I don't even like playing on giant lots most of the time. I feel like it's just that Sims are not very smart. You don't really want to give them too many things to do or like too many places to be, because when you're playing in a mansion with like a giant mansion backyard, God forbid your Sim like autonomously goes and tries to use the grill because now they're like a 2-hour walk away from the rest of the house because they're so slow. Like they'll go and use the grill outside or like swim or something, and then in order for them to get back inside and like upstairs to their bedroom, they have to walk so far and it takes them so long. Like Sims need to sometimes be given a very small, specific, like safe place to walk with less distractions. Honestly, I need less distractions. I kind of prefer to play in 1-story houses. I like the look of 2-story houses more, but as far as gameplay goes, it's kind of nice to have it all laid out on one floor so you're not constantly like paging up and down and like searching for your Sims. When there's too many places for them to be, you actually can lose them. They spread out too far. And like toddlers, if you're playing with toddlers, them having to use stairs is so annoying. It's so much easier when you have a toddler just on one floor, like their bedroom, their tub, all on one floor. None of this like taking 3 in-game hours to climb up and down the stairs. It's too much. I'm getting distracted again. Okay, so the living room. The living room, I really had a hard time decorating. It was kind of tough because it's like one big open space that's got a door to the front and the back and the staircase. I really wanted to have a fireplace and I wanted it to like line up with the chimney that I had outside, so that was kind of tough. And I also wasn't super sure like how much pink to use. I was kind of struggling because I wanted to use the pink railing on the stairs, but it didn't really match anything and the lighting was kind of making it look weird. And I wanted to have a pink couch and a pink rug, but those were kind of too bright, so it was sort of tough to find like the right level of pink to put in here, but I do think that it sort of worked out in the end. It just took some messing with to find the right shades, and then I was like, okay, this is working, this is fine. Dare I say the interior of this house is like almost a little bit too pink? I like it though. That was the goal, and we definitely met the goal. I don't know if I'd actually play in it. I I'm not sure. I might. The problem that I have is that I never play in any of these houses that I build. When I build a house that's like literally just to build, I don't play in it. Because when I do play with Sims, I like make a house, again, another house for the specific Sim. So like if I were to make a Sim who wanted an all pink house, I'd probably make another all pink house as opposed to using this one. I never try and like fit my existing builds to new Sims. I always build new houses for new Sims. I guess it makes sense though because I like building. Like I just really enjoy building in this game. So I, will take any excuse to build more houses. But it is kind of funny because I build so much that I never play in like 90% of the houses that I make. Because I will build like 5 or 6 houses in a week and I'm not making 5 or 6 new households each week, I've been playing with the same Sims on my YouTube channel for like 2 years. They don't need a new house that often. Oh, and the other problem with this house is the bedrooms are kind of small. I will say that. The bedrooms are a little bit teeny. I had a kind of hard time doing the floor plan upstairs because of that. There isn't really a ton of space and I wanted to have a few bedrooms. I did manage to split it up pretty well, but they're not like huge rooms. I think that's okay though because they look really nice and full. Because they're smaller, they seem like really cozy and really nice. Sometimes a smaller room is better. Like this office, my new one that I just moved into in real life a couple weeks ago, this room is smaller than my old office used to be. I honestly like it so much better. I think I've like furnished it better. It's the same furniture, but I feel like it fits in this room better than it did in my old room. So smaller isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. In the case of this pink house and in the case of this pink office. Speaking of my real office, I love this room. It gets great light in the mornings. It's so cozy. I'm so happy in my new house. I'm doing really well. That's a good thing though because I bought it, so I'm gonna be here for a while, but I am really happy here. I've been getting a lot of comments and like tweets and stuff like, Kayla, how's the new house? Do you like it? I really do. I'm really, really excited. I'm just really glad to be here. So it was really cute actually at TwitchCon last weekend. I met a lot of you in person, which was super cool, but a lot of people were like, Kayla, how's the new house? They were like asking me in real life. It made me so happy. It's so weird. This is gonna sound weird to say, but obviously I haven't met a lot of viewers in a really long time because of COVID and stuff. And I kind of forget that you all you watch my videos like every day. You know me decently well, right? So it's just kind of fun to like meet people in person and have them be like, Kayla, how are you doing? Like, I heard you moved. How is it? It's really sweet. It's nice to feel that people care, Does that make sense? I'm saying a lot of things that make no sense, but hopefully that makes sense at least. Now we are super almost done with the house now. We're doing just the last bedroom right here. It is a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. It's got a lovely backyard. It's got such nice space. And once we finish with the speed build, I'm gonna pop into the game and show you like a tour of the house so you can see it like more up close. It's always kind of hard to actually tell what's going on when I'm like speeding around and turning the camera this much, so I'll show you a real tour to get a better idea. This house is also on my gallery if you want to download it. My origin ID is just lilsimsie, although like I said, it does have quite a few packs in it. I was not trying to limit packs with this one. I was purely trying to make it pink. There was no pack priorities, only pink priorities in this house. I feel like my favorite parts are the landscaping, but also these bedrooms upstairs, especially that floral wallpaper in the kids' room. I think it is so cute. But overall, I think that house turned out really, really nicely. Like I said though, I'm gonna go do a tour in game. I just built it on a 30 by 20 lot in Newcrest, not like anywhere fancy. And this is how it looks from the outside. Again, I am so happy with the landscaping. I just think this looks so cute. The flowers look so nice together. I put like some fireflies around the place. I think the roof looks really cool too. I used these like fun pieces from Strangerville. The one problem is they like keep glitching. They aren't doing it right now, but sometimes they like turn black. I think it's because they glitch and think they're inside, so they have some problems occasionally, but I just replace them and it's fine. The wraparound porch is super nice too. It's got like a bench. I put some rocking chairs over here. We've got another bench and also a chess table in the back. In the backyard, I put like a little grill and table. We've got some planter boxes. There's even a bike. I put this telescope out here for like more skill building options. We even have a swing set right here. I think the swing set with the fairy lights looks so good in the backyard. I also did this kind of weird thing where I used like half real fence and half hedge fence. I know it seems kind of odd, but I really didn't like how the fence looked when I lined it up with the patio. Like when I put the fence over here, I just felt like it was kind of weird trying to attach it to this like rounded part of the porch, so I just didn't. I think it's okay though. I kind of like how it has a hedge fence on part of it. When you actually go inside the house, we have this main living room right here. I didn't put a TV, I just put a fireplace and some decor. I always struggle to put a TV above this fireplace. Sometimes I just think it's like way too high up. I always want it to work, work, but like it's just so tall. I need like a shorter, wider fireplace. Something like this, but like maybe even a little bit shorter that we can fit a TV above more easily. And then from there, you walk this way through into the dining room, which I think is really cute because it's got little pink polka dot chairs. There's a little hallway right here that leads you into a tiny bathroom and also that kitchen with all the pink appliances that I love. There's so many cute pink things like the aprons and the dog bowls. I don't know, I just think it all works together really well. And then upstairs, we've got a hallway. I managed to put like a little office space back here. There's kind of a good nook for it, so I put a desk in the corner. I always put desks in my stair landing, but it's just a good space. There's like random empty space. You might as well use it. We have one bathroom that does have a tub, don't worry. So if you've got a dog, you can wash them. Then we have this kids' room, my favorite, with the pink wallpaper. I love the flowers in here. I think this turned out really nicely. We've got like maybe a more teens bedroom here with the pink as well. And then we have like the main primary bedroom that has an ensuite. I didn't put anything in the attic. I just didn't really, oh, it's doing it. See, look, why does it do that? Why? So annoying. But I left the attic empty, mostly because I didn't really know where to put like a ladder or a staircase to it. It just didn't really fit. But you could always add one in if you wanted to play in the house. I don't know. I just left it empty though. And that, my friends, is the entire Sims build. By the way, my cat has been sitting here cuddling on my desk the entire time that I've been filming this video. She's kind of half on my keyboard, so it's a good thing I was doing a voiceover for most of this and I didn't need it. Oh my god, my face cam was in the bottom corner. I totally didn't know. I didn't even realize it was there. I just filmed a video where I went through a PowerPoint I made about kit speculation, so I moved my face cam down. I didn't notice it was still there. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll stop just rambling about pink Sims builds. If you like build videos on The Sims, I make loads of them, so feel free to subscribe. I also do a lot of live building on my Twitch channel, so if you want to watch that, I'll link my Twitch down below too. Thank you again for watching. Have the best rest of your day, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow, okay? Bye, everybody. My cat is being so cute. She's like completely unfazed by me recording. I've been talking for like an hour straight. She doesn't even know. She's just asleep. Perhaps she finds my speed builds boring. Although I guess I can't blame her.